잠시 후 1시 10분부터 2026학년도 대학 수학능력시험 3교시 영어 영역 듣기평가 방송을 시작하겠습니다. 수험생 여러분은 편안한 마음으로 방송에 귀를 기울여 주시고 감독 선생님께서는 스피커의 음량을 알맞게 조절해 주십시오. 수험생 여러분은 답안을 작성하기 전에 반드시 답안지 왼쪽 해당란에 성명, 수험번호 등을 정확하게 기입하고 표기하였는지 확인하시기 바랍니다. 답란에 정답을 표기하기 전에 답안지에 있는 수험생 준수사항을 꼭 확인하십시오. 듣기평가 문제는 1번부터 17번까지입니다. 방송을 잘 듣고 문제지에 있는 5개의 답지 중에서 맞는 답 하나만 골라 답안지에 해당 란에 바르게 표기하십시오. 듣기평가는 타정 없이 시작됩니다. 이제 문제지 표지를 넘기시기 바랍니다. 그러면 지금부터 3교시 영어 영역 듣기평가를 시작하겠습니다. 1번부터 17번까지는 듣고 답하는 문제입니다. 1번부터 15번까지는 한 번만 들려주고 16번부터 17번까지는 2번 들려줍니다. 방송을 잘 듣고 답을 하시기 바랍니다. 1번, 다음을 듣고 남자가 하는 말의 목적으로 가장 적절한 것을 고르시오.
Hello, viewers. It's Ryan. Welcome back to Only for Health channel. Do you want to have good sleep? Then the app Nightly Journey is perfect for you. This app provides a variety of aids that help you sleep well, such as calming sounds, peaceful and quiet music, and bedtime stories. It also offers audio exercises that teach you how to breathe in order to sleep better. Next time when you go to bed, consider Nightly Journey. Then, you'll wake up feeling refreshed the next morning. Why don't you try this app and get some good sleep tonight? Thank you for watching.
(2번) 대화를 듣고 여자의 의견으로 가장 적절한 것을 고르시오.
How's it going, Liam?
Good, Emily. Are you about to go indoor rock climbing like you do every weekend?
I am. Do you want to try it too?
Maybe, but I wonder why you enjoy it so much.
I think indoor rock climbing helps improve problem-solving skills.
Really? How so?
You use strategic thinking to solve the problem of getting to the top. That means you have to strategically plan the holds to grab.
I can see that. What if the plan doesn't work, though?
You have to adapt your plan while climbing. It makes you better at adjusting to new information. That's the basics of solving problems.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I'm sure your problem-solving skills will improve if you go indoor rock climbing.
Okay, I'll try it.
(3번) 다음을 듣고 남자가 하는 말의 요지로 가장 적절한 것을 고르시오.
Good afternoon, students. I'm Mr. Flynn, your school counselor. If you become anxious when facing an important job interview or presentation, I have a useful tip for you. Making a big pose can relieve your anxiety. For example, you can stretch out your arms in a V shape and hold that pose. Also, you could make a big pose as your favorite superhero does in the movies. When you make a big pose, you'll occupy more space. Then, your body will send a message to your brain saying that you're powerful, which will ease your anxiety. Next time you want to feel less anxious, try to make a big pose.
(4번) 대화를 듣고 그림에서 대화의 내용과 일치하지 않는 것을 고르시오.
Mr. Howard, how was your family trip to Compton Railway Museum over the weekend?
It was great, Miss Joyce. Here's a photo.
Let me see. Wow, there's a train on the rails.
Yeah. Do you see the boy wearing a heart-patterned T-shirt next to the train?
He looks so lovely. Is he your son?
He is. We took a walk through the museum. It was really good.
I can see. Oh, there's a bench in front of the shop window. It looks nice. Did you get anything from the shop?
Yes. Look at the flower-shaped doormat on the ground. I bought one like that.
It's so cute. The 3 chairs around the table look convenient. Did you take a break there?
We did.
The museum seems worth visiting. I'll have to go there.
(5번) 대화를 듣고 여자가 할 일로 가장 적절한 것을 고르시오.
Honey, I'm excited that we're opening our homemade pie store tomorrow.
Me too. Do you think everything's ready?
I do, but let's go over what we've done.
Good idea. I completed the product list for sale. Did you take photos of the pies?
I took photos of the walnut, pumpkin, blueberry, and apple pies.
Perfect. What about uploading information onto social media?
Don't worry, I advertised our pies on social media.
I hope it brings in a lot of customers. I also prepared forks and plates for customers on our opening day.
One more thing, don't forget to confirm the delivery of the ingredients for making more pies.
Right. I'll do that this afternoon.
Wonderful. See, we're ready for tomorrow.
(6번) 대화를 듣고 남자가 지불할 금액을 고르시오.
Welcome to Winterland Mart. How may I help you?
Hi, I'm shopping for an electric heater.
How about this type? It's very popular.
Let me see. Oh, I like it.
Well, we have it in 3 sizes. The small one is $50, the medium is $70, and the large is $100.
I'll take one medium-sized heater. Do you also have slippers?
Yes, we have wool and leather ones. A pair of wool slippers is $5, and a pair of leather ones is $10.
I'll take 2 pairs of leather ones.
Great. So, 1 medium-sized electric heater and 2 pairs of leather slippers. Is that correct?
Yes, that's right. Can I use this 10% off coupon?
I'll check. Oh, I'm sorry. You cannot use this coupon because it isn't valid anymore.
That's okay. Here's my credit card.
(7번) 대화를 듣고 여자가 모닝티 클럽에 참석할 수 없는 이유를 고르시오.
Good morning, Ms. Lee. Are you heading to morning tea club?
Not today, Mr. Thompson. I can't attend it this time.
Really? But you enjoy starting the workday by drinking tea with coworkers. Did you forget to bring your tea?
No, I always keep it in my bag.
Are you just too tired this morning because you worked late last night?
Not at all. I feel fine, just like usual.
Then, has your doctor told you not to drink too much tea?
No, my doctor actually encourages me to drink tea. He says it's good for my health.
Oh, I see. Something else must have come up then.
Yes, I have an early business meeting that overlaps with the tea club.
That's too bad. I hope your meeting goes well.
(8번) 대화를 듣고 어텀 트레저 헌트 행사에 관해 언급되지 않은 것을 고르시오.
Hey Nathan, have you heard of the Autumn Treasure Hunt event that is coming soon?
Autumn treasure hunt? That's interesting. Where will it take place?
It'll be held in Pine Nut Park. Participants can search for hidden treasure there.
Sounds fun. You know I'm a great treasure hunter. When is it?
It's this Saturday, November 22nd.
Perfect. I'm free that day. There must be a big prize for the winner. Do you know what it is?
Yeah, if you collect the most treasure, you'll get a gift card worth $100 as a reward.
Wow, that's a big prize. How can I sign up for the Autumn Treasure Hunt event?
You can visit its website and register online.
Awesome. Let's go there together.
That'd be great.
(9번) 2025 코트 비짓 프로그램에 관한 다음 내용을 듣고 일치하지 않는 것을 고르시오.
Hello, listeners. This is Lisa Cooperson from Leverin Radio Station. Are you considering a career related to law? The 2025 Court Visit Program will be held on November 19th at Woodfield County Courthouse. It allows high school students to experience working in law. This program offers an opportunity to meet with judges and lawyers and learn what happens in court. Its activities include a trial role play. Also, the program gives participants a certificate that shows completion of the program. To join, you must apply as a team, not as an individual. Applications should be submitted to the courthouse by the end of this week. Lastly, the program includes a free lunch, so you won't need to bring your own. Don't miss this wonderful opportunity.
(10번) 다음 표를 보면서 대화를 듣고 남자가 구입할 버터 나이프 세트를 고르시오.
Hey, Madeline, can you help me?
Sure, Kevin. What is it?
I'm looking for a butter knife set for my family. Among these 5 best-selling sets, which would you recommend?
If I were you, I wouldn't spend more than $10. That's too expensive.
You're right. What about the handle material?
I don't recommend a wood handle because it's harder to wash.
That's a good point. Next is the number of knives.
Well, each person in your family needs their own knife.
There's my wife, my son, and me. That means I'll need at least 3 knives.
That leaves 2 options. I guess you'll need a gift box.
No, my wife doesn't like packaging waste.
That's good. Then you've made your decision.
Yes, I'll buy this set. Thanks for your help.
11번. 대화를 듣고 여자의 마지막 말에 대한 남자의 응답으로 가장 적절한 것을 고르시오.
Hello, Tony. I'm driving now to pick up my daughter from your place, but I'm going to be late.
Well, your daughter is having fun with my kids now. But my family does have to leave in 30 minutes. When do you think you can make it here?
By car, I'll get there in 10 minutes. Can you watch her until I arrive?
(12번) 대화를 듣고 남자의 마지막 말에 대한 여자의 응답으로 가장 적절한 것을 고르시오.
Jenny, have you responded to the survey on where to go for our school trip?
Not yet, Jamie. Both places look good, so I'll go with whichever place has a direct bus from our town.
I've been to both, and only Rosemary Amusement Park has a direct one. Bus number 20 goes straight there.
(13번) 대화를 듣고 여자의 마지막 말에 대한 남자의 응답으로 가장 적절한 것을 고르시오.
Hello, Griffin's Furnishings. How may I help you?
Hello, I'm calling because I have an issue with the chair kit I received.
Could you please tell me your full name?
I'm Sally Park.
Give me a moment. I see that you ordered a do-it-yourself chair, which was delivered yesterday.
Yes, that's correct. While putting the chair together, I found a problem.
I'm sorry to hear that. Can you be more specific about the issue?
There's a big scratch on one of the chair legs.
Are the rest of the chair parts in good condition?
Yes, all of the other parts are fine. It's only the left front leg that is damaged.
In that case, you can get a whole new kit or just the part you need.
I'm almost done putting the chair together, so I don't need a whole chair kit.
(14번) 대화를 듣고 남자의 마지막 말에 대한 여자의 응답으로 가장 적절한 것을 고르시오.
Hey, Jake.
Anna, what's wrong? You look so worried.
My 5-year-old daughter doesn't eat a variety of foods.
Is she willing to taste new foods?
That's the problem. She won't even try them. She eats only foods she's used to.
Oh, that seems like a big problem. Why don't you prepare meals together with her?
How might that help?
Getting children involved in meal preparation makes them interested in new foods, which can increase the variety of foods they eat.
I can see that. But would it work for my daughter?
It was a success with my son when he was your daughter's age.
Really? Does he eat diverse foods now?
Of course, he does. His eating habits improved after we prepared meals together. You should do it this weekend.
(15번) 다음 상황 설명을 듣고 올리비아가 앤디에게 할 말로 가장 적절한 것을 고르시오.
Olivia and Andy are classmates who are taking a history course together. In the class, they're assigned a team project. For this project, they decide to create a bicycling route map of local historical sites. First, they pick some historical sites to include in the map. Next, they start discussing how to create the map. Andy says that they can generate the route map by using only the internet. However, Olivia has a different idea. She thinks the internet cannot provide all the information they need, such as closed paths or less difficult routes for bicycling. So, Olivia wants to suggest that they go to each site themselves by riding their bicycles for the project. In this situation, what would Olivia most likely say to Andy?
(16번부터 17번까지는) 두 번 들려줍니다. 16번과 17번. 다음을 듣고 물음에 답하시오.
Hello, students. Do you know that plants often help scientists understand the wonders of nature? Let's look at some plants that are perfect for science experiments because they grow quickly. First, bamboo is known for quick growth, with some varieties growing inches per day. Therefore, it absorbs a large amount of CO2, so it's often used in studies about how to reduce climate change. Second, lettuce grows quickly and is sensitive to environmental conditions. So, scientists grow it to see the effects of various chemicals on plant growth. Third, sunflowers are known for their remarkable growth rate, sometimes reaching several feet in just a few months. That's why scientists use them to learn about the effects of soils on plant height. Finally, peas are classic plants for experiments about genetics, as they grow quickly and have easily observable characteristics, like seed color and shape. For these reasons, the famous scientist Mendel studied them. After a short break, we'll look at other plants that are good for science experiments.
다시 한번 듣겠습니다.
Hello, students. Do you know that plants often help scientists understand the wonders of nature? Let's look at some plants that are perfect for science experiments because they grow quickly. First, bamboo is known for quick growth, with some varieties growing inches per day. Therefore, it absorbs a large amount of CO2, so it's often used in studies about how to reduce climate change. Second, lettuce grows quickly and is sensitive to environmental conditions. So, scientists grow it to see the effects of various chemicals on plant growth. Third, sunflowers are known for their remarkable growth rate, sometimes reaching several feet in just a few months. That's why scientists use them to learn about the effects of soils on plant height. Finally, peas are classic plants for experiments about genetics, as they grow quickly and have easily observable characteristics, like seed color and shape. For these reasons, the famous scientist Mendel studied them. After a short break, we'll look at other plants that are good for science experiments.
16번. 여자가 하는 말의 주제로 가장 적절한 것은? (17번) 언급된 식물이 아닌 것은? 이제 듣기 문제가 끝났습니다. 18번부터는 문제지 지시에 따라 답을 하시기 바랍니다.
28. Fun bowling season pass. If you love bowling, don't miss out on the best deal of the season. You can have fun with your friends and family. Where to use, all branches of Bowl Heaven. When to use, January 1st to March 31st, 2026. Past high price details. Standard $40 2 free games a day, no discounts for shoe rentals. Silver $60 3 free games a day plus 50% off shoe rentals. Gold $80 4 free games a day plus free shoe rentals. All passes include a 20% food and beverage discount. Purchase details. The pass can be purchased only online. Purchases are limited to only one per person. The pass is not transferable to another person. For more information, please visit www.b#pa*guest.com. 26. Max Kleiber, a pioneer in the study of animal biology, was best known for his research on animal nutrition and metabolism. He was born in Zurich, Switzerland in 1893. Kleiber graduated from the Swiss Federal Institute of Technology in 1920 and earned his doctoral degree in 1924. He came to the University of California at Davis, UC Davis, in 1929 to conduct research on energy metabolism in animals. In 1952, Kleiber received the Distinguished Borden Award from the American Institute of Nutrition and, a year later, the Morrison Award from the American Society for Animal Production. Kleiber's book, The Fire of Life, was published in 1961 and subsequently translated into German, Polish, Spanish, and Japanese. Kleiber was an outstanding teacher, popular with undergraduates and graduate students alike. Before his death, a new classroom building at UC Davis was named Kleiber Hall in his honor. The graph above shows the percentages of U.S. teenagers who spent time with friends by communication type, based on a survey conducted between 2014 and 2015. 1. In the category of everyday, text messaging showed the highest percentage among the 4 types of communication that teenagers use to spend time with friends. 2. In the category of less often, the percentage of teenagers who spent time with friends through talking on the phone was more than twice that of teenagers who did so through text messaging. 3. The percentage of teenagers who spent time with friends through talking on the phone in the category of everyday was lower than that of teenagers who did so in the category of less often. 4. In the category of less often, emailing was the second highest in percentage among the types of communication listed above. 5. The percentage of teenagers who spent time with friends through video chatting in the category of less often was higher than that of teenagers who did so in the category of everyday. 18. Dear students, I am Amanda Clark, the school club director, and I am writing to you about our school clubs. Over the last few semesters, there have been requests for more diverse school clubs. For this reason, the school decided to expand the number of clubs for extracurricular activities. This provides students with an opportunity to make additional clubs. Students can make any type of club based on their various interests, such as hip-hop, K-pop dancing, or coding. Therefore, I am encouraging you to submit a proposal for a new club that you would like to create. Please turn this into my office by the end of this week. I look forward to seeing your great ideas. Best regards, Amanda Clark. 19. Where could it be? Sophie asked herself. It had been more than 10 years since she had last visited the area where she had grown up. The village had changed a lot over time. Uncertain, she awkwardly looked around at her surroundings. She walked the narrow streets of the village, unsure about which way to go. Suddenly, Sophie saw a familiar sight. Yes, this must be it, she thought. In front of her was a wall with flowers painted on it. Although the colors were now faded, the familiar shapes on the wall were the same ones she had painted with her father as a child. Sophie nodded, smiled brightly, and walked toward the gate. At last, she had finally found the house she had grown up in. 1. Confused, pleased. 2. Confident, embarrassed. 3. Thrilled, anxious. 4. Relieved, nervous. 5. Bored. Excited. 20. The study of literature has repeatedly failed to recognize the influence of modern musical lyricists and their contributions to the evolution of language. Unlike Shakespeare, who has been studied and celebrated for his development of the English language, particularly in vocabulary and grammatical structure, modern songwriters have experienced restraints on the acknowledgement of their contributions and largely been ignored. Over the past century, we have witnessed an explosion of incredible literary works by these artists, who, through their music, have used linguistic manipulation and storytelling to enrich our language and literature. Producing lyrics of distinct and complex imagery, songwriters have had an incredible literary impact on our language. Their remarkable works, including influences on modern language development, must be recognized in the field of modern literature. 22. A sport ecosystem exists based on the type and rate of competition existing. Competition is defined as the simultaneous pursuit of cooperation and competition among firms to leverage strategically important resources for superior value creation purposes. It is a useful way to understand the dynamic nature of sport businesses which need to collaborate for resource efficiency purposes but potentially compete with each other. This special relationship should be managed properly due to trust and confidence issues being paramount. It can be challenging to be collaborative and competitive in sport as they involve different forms of behavior. This means a careful balancing act may be required in terms of the amount of emphasis placed on each activity. Often sport managers will try to be more competitive due to performance reasons and less collaborative. By necessity, they may need to share information but do so in a cautious manner. This means it might be better to have plans in place about how to pursue both simultaneously. This will ensure one is not neglected at the expense of the other. (23) Emphasizing speed over frequency can make sense in contexts where everyone is expected to plan around the timetable, including peak-only commute services and very long trips with low demand. In all other contexts, though, it seems to be a common motorist's error. Roads are there all the time, so their speed is the most important fact that distinguishes them. But transit is only there if it's coming soon. If you have a car, you can use a road whenever you want and experience its speed. But transit has to exist when you need it, span, and it needs to be coming soon, frequency. Otherwise, waiting time will wipe out any time savings from a faster service. Unless you're comfortable planning your life around a particular scheduled trip, speed is worthless without frequency. So a transit map that screams about speed and whispers about frequency may simply be planting confusion. Point 1. Consequences of adjusting frequency of transit. Point 2. Significance of designing an accurate transit map. Point 3. Importance of valuing frequency in public transportation. Point 4. Impact of creating high-speed public transportation systems. Point 5. Methods to improve speed and frequency of commute services. (24) The economic benefit of culturetainment makes it attractive to politicians and policymakers alike. A potential increase in inbound visitor numbers coupled with their demand for related goods and services, travel, accommodation, retail, is an incentive for those within governments and authorities to work with cultural groups in order to develop celebrations and commemorations into larger and more high-profile events. However, such commercialization risks culturetainment becoming homogeneous and losing its original message that could lead to a dilution of audiences. This could also lead to smaller non-commercial independent events being set up that would only serve to divide audiences further. This is something that planners and stakeholders will need to balance against potential financial gain. Changing political, social and religious landscapes will lead to the emergence of new cultures, and with them new culturetainment experiences. Overall, this is a healthy growth sector of the entertainment industry, but one that by its very nature is delicate in the face of exploitation. 1. The commercialization of culture and its unexpected benefits. Point 2. Cash or soul? When culture couples with entertainment. Point 3. Culturetainment, an ambition of entertainment to be a culture. Point 4. New cultures. The poisonous fruit of culturetainment. Point 5. Why balanced investments matter in the entertainment industry. (41-42). There is an obvious problem with the history of dress in all of its displays, and that is, although textiles survive from early periods and cultures of recorded history, actual garments do not provide an uninterrupted flow of evidence across the same long time span. Therefore, to give the study of dress equal significance to other areas such as architecture, painting, prints, drawings and sculpture, it was, a, inevitable that these other areas would provide much of the source material. The history of surviving dress really only starts in the 17th century, and like all artifacts described as fine or decorative art, is a highly visual subject. However, unlike most of the categories of collection and study that make up those areas, it is fluid rather than static. Garments should be seen in b. movement on a human body, not frozen on a display figure. This is one of the many difficulties when curating collections of costume, and also why some modern writers find costume collections physically and intellectually lifeless. Fortunately, in the period after 1660, when more items of dress survived to enrich our understanding of the history of the subject, there are also many painted, printed, photographed, and filmed sources of evidence of people in clothing, caught in movement. Often a variety of different types of illustrative examples will provide evidence about how a garment was worn within the period in which it was made. 1. Anatomical distance between humans and other primates. 2. Human hands, a decisive leap in the evolutionary path. 3. Our hands, an unexpected outcome of evolution. 4. Human grip, the dilemma of human survival. 5. Hidden power of the daily use of tools. (43 through 45). Mia, let's go walk our dog. Julia called out, but there was no answer. She checked her daughter's room and found that Mia was absorbed in her smartphone, wearing her earbuds. Julia was concerned about her daughter. She turned to her husband, Sam. Mia seems to live inside her phone, not with us. Sam nodded. I know. I feel like, she is growing distant from us. Why don't we set up a family reading club? Julia brightened at the suggestion, and Sam promised to talk with Mia about it. Mia's family held their first book club meeting on Saturday afternoon. Everyone enjoyed the book Mia had chosen. Julia was the first to speak. Dr. Duval nearly invented a drug for eternal life, yet disappeared one day and ended up running Café Paris. That's such a mystery. Mia responded, her eyes sparkling, Mom, I understand him. He always dreamed of being a barista, and his dream came true. Sam supported his daughter, and their conversation grew lively. During the discussion, Mia felt reconnected with her parents and already looked forward to their next book club meeting. At the library, Mia scanned the shelves for nearly an hour, feeling lost among the endless titles. Then, a librarian approached and asked, looking for something in particular? I need a book for my family's reading club, Mia admitted. What genre do you enjoy? She asked kindly. I like mysteries, Mia replied. The librarian handed her a book titled Café Paris and said with a smile, You'll love this one. Mia thanked her and checked it out. When Sam suggested starting a family reading club, Mia immediately shook her head and said, No, Dad. I don't have time to read books. You know how busy, I am with exams all semester. He didn't give up. But wouldn't it be fun if we all read the same story and shared our thoughts? You could simply read for 20 minutes, maybe during your lunch break. After some persuasion, Mia reluctantly agreed. Deep down, she knew she was spending too much time on her phone. So she asked, Dad, can I choose the first book? Sam gladly said, yes. 21. Digital platforms have made a lot of work less sticky. As work becomes ever more modularized, commoditized, and standardized, and as markets for digital work are created, ties between service work and particular places can be disconnected. While the business process of outsourcing that emerged in the 1990s allowed large companies to take advantage of a global reserve army by moving their call centers to cheap and distant labor markets, cloud work changes the volume and granularity at which geographically non-proximate work can take place. A small business in New York can hire a freelance transcriber in Nairobi one day and New Delhi the next. No offices or factories need to be built, no local regulations are observed, and in most cases no local taxes are paid. The switch in the production network of work happens by simply sending some emails or clicking some buttons on a digital work platform. And, in this way, the employer leaves behind no material traces in the places where it was once an employer. Point 1. Settled the locational dilemma of the global markets. Point 2. Elevated the spatial flexibility in conducting business. Point 3. Weakened the geographical expansion of local business. Point 4. Relieved the strict legal processes of regional outsourcing. Point 5. Allowed business to be less complicated in its hiring process. (29) We are exceptionally smart, and this helps us adapt to a wide range of environments. But we are not nearly smart enough as individuals. 1. To solve the adaptive problems that confronted modern humans as they spread across the globe. The package of tools, foraging techniques, ecological knowledge, and social arrangements used by any group of foragers. 2. Being far too complex for any individual to create. We are able to learn all the things we need to know in each of the many different environments. 3. In which we live only because we acquire information from others. We are much better at learning from others than other species are, and we are 4. Motivated to learn from others even when we do not understand why our models are doing what they are doing. This psychology allows human populations to accumulate pools of adaptive information that 5. Greatly exceed the inventive capacities of individuals. (30) Situational ethics is an ethical theory that takes into account the context of a situation or an act when judging whether it is ethical. Supporters of this theory willingly permit casting aside absolute moral standards. In the absence of a universal standard or law, what matters is the outcome or consequences, so, the end justifies the means. Possibly the following contrasting realities can help illustrate the application of situational ethics. In a pickup game of basketball played among friends, everyone is expected to call his or her own fouls or acknowledge knocking the ball out of bounds. Caring about one's friends and maybe getting to keep playing with the group leads to these actions. But, once an organized game is played with officials, most athletes will not admit to the same fouls or violations. As the end goal of winning is more important than expressing concern for competitors. Situational ethics has been extended by many athletes and coaches to mean trying to get away with as many actions on the field or court as possible to abandon competitive advantages. (35) There are few of us who don't at least want to make time for self-care activities such as exercise, hobbies, or relaxation. We start each day with the best of intentions but then get stuck by the flood of email messages or pulled into an unexpected meeting. As we struggle to reprioritize so we can get everything done before our deadlines, often our self-care activities are the first thing to be given up. No matter how much we plan, we all occasionally have days when that happens. In the short term, the impact of missing that grant deadline may be greater than the impact of missing a woodworking class. Needless to say, we should try to enroll in the woodworking class before the design class because it is more competitive to get into and more beneficial to us. But it's important to recognize the cumulative impact of not prioritizing self-care and to make sure that in the long term, this is the exception rather than the norm. In modern societies, the performing arts form a distinct category of public entertainment in opposition to the mass distribution through the media of expertly staged performances which have been recorded and edited. By contrast, theater, ballet, circus, concert, rodeo, storytelling, etc., unfold their signs in real space and time, and engage audiences who respond cognitively and emotionally on the spot. Performers and audiences are involved in shared enjoyment. But sometimes frustration occurs within the boundaries of such ritualistic events. In industrialized and computerized cultures, the performing arts become economically unstable because the institutions which sustain them increasingly depend on public and corporate funding. However, they retain their power of fascination for large, if not massive audiences, who prize the experiential, risk-loaded and one-time event quality they afford. In traditional and local cultures, performances still survive and provide their audiences with a unique fulfillment in smaller scale, economically sustainable institutional settings. In a situation of financial, due to reliance on external funding, the performing arts, which provide unique and live experiences, audiences who value those experiences. 1. Uncertainty. Lose. 2. Imbalance. Split. 3. Challenges. Secure. 4. Stability. Reach. 5. Advantages. Support. We usually think of a clock as a physical thing, like an alarm clock or a wristwatch. But a clock is really a process embodied in a machine, and the nature of that process is repetitive. Indeed, it is almost impossible to think of a clock that does not depend on a repetitive cycle of events. The only example that comes to mind readily is a candle marked in hours. But here too there is iteration and the repeated burning of molecules of wax, so this too is an iterative process, although at first masked. The use of radiocarbon dating is another, much longer scale clock that also appears to be like this. It seems to yield a smooth time scale but in fact does not. The decay of atoms of carbon-14 is repetitive, although on a large scale it gives the appearance of being continuous. A clock can be almost any process that repeats itself over and over again for an indefinite period. Water clocks drip at a steady pace, quartz crystals vibrate regularly. 37. Philosophy allows us to ask much broader questions than many other scientific disciplines. It is capable of looking at the bigger picture and providing important insights into the relationships between different areas of knowledge. This means that while philosophy can provide valuable insights into theoretical concepts and broader ethical questions, it needs to be supplemented by empirical findings and experiments to reach a more comprehensive understanding. Philosophers tend to ask questions rather than provide definitive answers, and their contributions often consist of challenging established assumptions and proposing new research approaches. However, for a more comprehensive understanding of the nature of consciousness, close collaboration between philosophy and neuroscience is required. Philosophy is particularly important for the interdisciplinary efforts of cognitive science, where it helps to bridge gaps between different disciplines and pioneer new ways for research. Unlike scientific methods, philosophizing is a non-empirical approach that attempts to validate concepts through logical thinking and argumentation. Sometimes these internal narratives we form not only shape our beliefs and opinions but also become deeply rooted in our identity. While stories clearly dominate statistics from both memorability and persuasiveness perspectives, it's rarely a battle between facts and anecdotes, or even facts and other facts. The real clash is actually between stories, the predominant incumbent and a new challenger. As storytelling creatures, we routinely form narratives to help us understand the world around us. When we experience different events or encounter various facts, our minds seek to make sense of them by forming stories around them. For example, if you have had some bad experiences with graduates from a particular university, you may create a negative narrative in your mind about people who went to that school. Suddenly, you judge everyone from the university by what you've experienced on just a few unfortunate occasions. For example, the narratives you have formed around gun control or climate change are most likely related with your political ideology or who you are as an individual. The difference is that the action in the game world can only be explored through the virtual bodily space of the avatar. A video game has its own model of reality, internal to itself and separate from the player's external reality, the player's bodily space and the avatar's bodily space. The avatar's bodily space, the potential actions of the avatar in the game world, is the only way in which the reality of the external reality of the game world can be perceived. As in the real world, perception requires action. Players extend their perceptual field into the game, encompassing the available actions of the avatar. The feedback loop of perception and action that enables you to navigate the world around you is now one step removed, instead of perceiving primarily through interaction of your own body with the external world. You're perceiving the game world through interaction of the avatar. The entire perceptual system has been extended into the game world. 31. The early grain trade firms were active in both surplus-producing and food-deficit regions, and these firms made it their business to know the state of supply and demand in both. Because this information was the key to these firms worked in relative secrecy, frequently built on family ties, trust, and loyalty. In addition, these firms were able to benefit from the rise of commodity exchanges and commodities futures markets that emerged in the mid-1800s. Agricultural markets are naturally unstable, due to changes in harvest size that result from variable weather patterns and other factors. Locking in prices by buying and selling grain for future delivery helped these firms to minimize such risks. It made sense for the grain trading companies to manage their risks within a single firm that was operating in more than one country, rather than operating as independent national companies trading with each other. Their access to information in multiple markets enabled them to easily cover the risks associated with agricultural commodity trade. 1. Profitability. 2. Unification. 3. Innovation. 4. Reputation. 5. Morality. (32) The basic guidelines for good style are not mysterious. In fact, you use them every day in conversation. In conversation and in writing, we all rely heavily on cooperation to make sense of exchanges, and a polished practical style makes cooperation easier. Writers develop such a style by acknowledging that readers expect the same things that listeners expect in conversation: clarity, relevance, and proportion. If you listen to someone who is not clear, who cannot stay on the topic, or who offers too much or too little information, you will quickly lose interest in the conversation. Writers, too, need to be clear, stay on the topic, and give information appropriately. In fact, this attention to audience and appropriateness may be even more important in writing than in conversation, because writing does not permit the nonverbal communication and immediate feedback that are part of conversation. As writers, we have to imagine both halves of a virtual conversation. 1. Recognize the limitations of writing in conversation. 2. Envision the reader's preference for stylistic writing. 3. Picture the reader's desire for more knowledge. 4. Develop collaborative writing with readers. 5. Anticipate the absent reader's response. (33) Giving clients sufficient opportunity to react to your designs while in progress is a key to professional success. Similarly, involving prospective building users as well as clients is even more valuable in the long run. Say your client is a large corporation, such as a healthcare provider. While the hospital administration may serve as your client, no doubt the perspectives of administration personnel will differ significantly from those of doctors, interns,
제3교시 종료 10분 전입니다.
residents, nurses, and other medical staff who use the building regularly. In addition, the experiences of patients and visitors who use the building irregularly, often as a result of life-threatening emergencies, are altogether different as well. Understanding how each type of user experiences the current medical environment as well as how each reacts to your prospective designs inevitably produces a better building. People are likely to be more satisfied with a new building or addition if they for a large institution. This can translate into increased productivity on the job, reduced absenteeism, less turnover, and lower costs. Point 1. Have been engaged in multiple design training sessions. Point 2. Are given the opportunity to draft a new design. Point 3. Have established trust with the building designers. Point 4. Have been consulted in the design process. Point 5. Share their perspectives on the building with each other. (34) Kant was a strong defender of the rule of law as the ultimate guarantee, not only of security and peace, but also of freedom. He believed that human societies were moving towards more rational forms regulated by effective and binding legal frameworks because only such frameworks enabled people to live in harmony, to prosper and to cooperate. However, his belief in inevitable progress was not based on an optimistic or high-minded view of human nature. On the contrary, it comes close to Hobbes's outlook. Man's violent and conflict-prone nature makes it necessary to establish and maintain an effective legal framework in order to secure peace. We cannot count on people's benevolence or goodwill, but even a nation of devils can live in harmony in a legal system that binds every citizen equally. Ideally, the law is the embodiment of those political principles that all rational beings would freely choose. If such laws forbid them to do something that they would not rationally choose to do anyway, then the law cannot be 1. Regarded as reasonably confining human liberty. Point 2. Viewed as a strong defender of the justice system. Point 3. Understood as a restraint on their freedom. Point 4. Enforced effectively to suppress their evil nature. Point 5. Accepted within the assumption of ideal legal frameworks.
제3교시 종료령입니다. 수험생은 필기도구를 놓고 답안지는 뒤집어서 오른쪽에, 문제지는 표지를 덮어서 왼쪽에 각각 놓고 조용히 기다리십시오. 제2감독관께서는 문제지와 답안지를 수험 번호 순으로 회수하여 주시고 수량을 확인하여 주십시오.